Hey, everybody, welcome to the weekend edition here, Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I am the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Wow, have we got a lot of new music for you this week. As always, the weekend edition kicks off with an album review and 8 new songs. Not one, not two, 8 new songs for you this week. We're catching up from all the technical glitches and all the problems we had over the last couple weeks. So Dave and I are playing catch up. It's all good. It's all music. And then, of course, we've got concerts coming up. In 2 weeks, Greta Van Fleet. In 3 weeks, the Young Guns, Mammoth WVH, and Dirty Honey. You kids are in for a bunch of treats here over the next month.
Oh baby, we got it for you. You are covered.
That is right, especially this week with new music. I will let Dave start off as we discuss the new Scorpions album, Rock Believer.
This one, I really enjoyed. It started off pretty good. I liked Gas in the Tank. Nice little intro. I don't think it was the strongest one to start with, but it was enjoyable to listen to. This one, I think the first half was stronger than the back half.
So I don't know. I can agree with that. I thought it was hit and miss. I agree it was hit and miss. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I definitely agree that Gas in the Tank was probably not the strongest song to start the album with.
No. But that being said, it wasn't bad. Roots in My Boots. Why did they even do that one?
Can I just tell you that sometimes you and I are simpatico beyond all belief, because it on the surface, Roots in My Boots sounds like a really kind of strong, not generic, but just a regular Scorpion song. But I'm just like, what the hell does this song mean? Who came up with the title Roots in My Boots? This is
it was bubblegum crap.
Yeah, I didn't. That was not my favorite song on the album, believe me.
No. Knock 'em Dead came back pretty good. We talked about Rock Believer already being solid. Had a couple in there. I don't know.
Now
Shining of Your Soul.
The two we were gonna
reggae beat.
Yeah, the Shining of Your Soul, definitely, you and I again are simpatico, has that reggae beat to it. Now, Shining of Your Soul and Seventh Son, I think, were the two that we discussed last week that we were going to review, but we decided we're going to end up doing the whole album anyway, so why review the songs? Right. Those were the last two releases before the album came out. I do like Shining of Your Soul, but yeah, again, you and I are simpatico, reggae beat.
It kind of worked for him.
Now, Seventh Son is awesome.
That one was phenomenal.
One of my 2 or 3 favorites on the entire album. It's more old school. It reminded me more of something that you would have heard off of Love at First Sting. More old school Scorpions, a little bit harder edged. There's nothing. The thing about this album is, to me, there's nothing really harder edged, but there's no goopy ballads either. So it's a win-win, lose-lose, I guess.
Yeah. Hot and Cold. I was hot and cold about. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yep.
I really enjoyed Peacemaker. That was one of my favorites on here.
Now, that was the initial release. That was the first single off of the album. Yep.
Yeah, that actually probably should have been the first track to lead you into it.
Yeah, I could see that. That would have been a better lead-in track than Gas in the Tank. Yeah, I agree.
And then from there on out, it kind of went downhill for me, with the exception of maybe "Shout for Your Heart."
Okay, now
Call of the Wild.
that's where you and I probably are different. Is that, again, I bought the physical CD, so I did not get the deluxe edition. So I'm only
Okay.
reviewing the first 11 songs. So I'm
Okay.
done when you know where you came from. That's it for me.
Okay. Be grateful at that point, because when they do the acoustic of When You Know Where You Came From, not a fan of the acoustic one on the deluxe.
Yeah, I just didn't want to shell out the extra $6 or $7 for 4 or 5 more songs.
Yeah. No, I listened to it on Spotify.
I did too, but I was kind of going back and forth, and I just decided to stick with the regular edition. So I've only got the first 11. Now I will say there are a couple songs that you didn't mention that I really liked. Call of the Wild, I thought was really good. Song 10.
See, I wasn't overly wild about that one.
Again, there you go. You're hot and cold about hot and cold. You weren't overly wild about Call of the Wild. Oh, Shecky Height performing Saturday night at the Sahara. 2 shows on Sunday. Ba-doom-ba. What about When I Lay My Bones to Rest? I really like that too. Song 8.
That one, that was one of my top 3.
Yeah, I like that. But overall, I think you and I agree on the album. And again, I'm glad they didn't do a goopy power ballad.
Oh my God, yes.
So the 11 songs on the regular edition of Rock Believer, there's not a dud, but there's really not a lot of standouts either. That's the problem.
No.
So I'm gonna give Rock Believer 2.5 frenzies.
That's where I'm at with it too.
Yeah, you and I agree.
It's okay, but it's not an in-your-face that you normally would get from the Scorpions.
Yeah, it's not their worst. It's not their best. And I think you're right. I think the beginning of the album is really just, it doesn't start off the way it should. You were right. Peacemaker should be up there in the first couple songs. You take Gas in the Tank, Roots in My Boots, and Knock 'Em Dead, the first 3. That is pretty weak in terms of a start. When you look at what you could have had up there at the beginning, you could have put When I Lay My Bones to Rest, Peacemaker, Rock Believer, Seventh Son up there, the stronger songs on the album. Yeah. So unfortunately, it looks like Dave and I agree that this, while we're still glad to have the Scorpions around, of course, this is not their best effort, but we'll still take it.
Yep.
And we'll still look forward to a tour. That's what we want. A tour.
Damn right.
One last time around. So
Mrs. C wants to see them since she missed the last go.
And she has to hear the zoo.
That's right. It's imperative.
That is an inside sports frenzy joke, kids. So now, of course, 8 songs to review here. First off, let's start with Ted Nugent's American Campfire, coming up from his upcoming album, Detroit Muscle. I like this. I did like this. It's Nuge. It's the Nuge. It's not great, but it's...
It was, to me, it felt like a generic cop-out for him.
Oh, look at you, harsh.
So I give it a 2. It was good, but it just didn't do it for me.
Wow. Okay, I will go 2.5. I liked it more than you. I thought it was catchy, but again, it's not. It's the Nuge. It's not deep. And you can look at Ted Nugent kind of like how we just reviewed the Scorpions, where you're not going to get lyrical depth. You're not going to get anything other than sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But if they can make it catchy enough, that's when they're good. And I think American Campfire is just catchy enough where I'm willing to give it a pass at 2.5.
There you go. It didn't catch me on fire.
Are you going to keep doing this? Yeah, you're just going to keep doing this.
I am going to do
the lounge act through the whole segment. You pick the next song. What's our next song, Dave?
We are going to go Fear of the Dawn from Jack White, the second off of this album. You know, this one, I listened to it after listening to Rock Believer. And after Rock Believer, it kicked into another Scorpions track. It just happened to have been the Sails of Charon. And then I listened to American Campfire and then Fear of the Dawn. And damn, if Fear of the Dawn did not sound like the Sails of Charon. I went back and forth on them. Very, very damn close.
Well, I thought I did not listen to, obviously, Sails of Charon, but I thought Fear of the Dawn was fucking awesome. Not like greatest song ever, but just I needed that guitar. I needed that face-melting Jack White guitar, and I got it in Fear of the Dawn.
Yep, and that's the same type of riff. Now, that being said, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great follow-up to Taking Me Back. I actually like this better than Taking Me Back.
Yeah, I did too. I'll give it a strong 3 Frenzies.
Yep.
This shows what Jack White is capable of when it comes to his guitar playing. This is why I always kind of try to stick behind him and prop him up when everybody else, you included, kind of, poo-poo him, knock him down.
He can be up and down with it, but there's no denying he's a phenomenal guitarist.
Yeah, and this is the face-melting White Stripe stuff I want to hear from him. So I'm getting more excited about Fear of the Dawn coming out here within the next month or two.
Yeah, definitely a solid outing.
All right, we talked about Heart last week. We talked about the implosion of Heart. So what do you think of Ann Wilson's new single, Greed?
It had the Heart sound, but it lacked a little something. And I think it was Nancy. You didn't have that edge in there with it that you would come to expect.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's not a bad song when you compare it to what else is out there. I'd probably give it.
I had it 2.5.
That's where I'm going to. I go 2.5 with it. It's not a bad song, but I agree.
I would be intrigued to listen to the rest of it, but it had the start of Heart, but it lacked that backbeat.
So you're saying it had no heart? I'm going to play off of you now.
I would say it was a half a heart. I'd say half a heart.
Half-hearted. Yeah, I'm with you. There's something about it. Again, if it had been a Heart song with Nancy, I bet you it would have had, like you said, that harder edge that it needed to be a really great song instead of just a good song. So I'm with you on that. I'll give it 2.5, maybe a slightly weak 2.5.
Slightly weak 2.5. It was better than a 2. Slightly.
All right, let's talk about a really cool, fun song, a cover song that you and I both kind of stumbled upon last week. Corey Taylor.
Oh, his solo stuff has been really damn good.
And he's
and here he gives us.
He's from Slipknot and Stone Sour, right? We looked at that last week.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta love the fact that he goes back to the old rock influences and puts together an unbelievable version of John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown bands on the Dark Side.
Oh, so good. Loved it. And then the little homage at the end. We're not going to give it away. We're going to make you listen to it to find out what we're talking about.
Two classic songs. Yeah. He weaves into the end of it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a phenomenal cover. Love this one. It's not the original. I'm going 3.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd probably give it 3.5 as well. If it wasn't for what he does at the end with the other twists and turns with the classic songs, it probably would be a 2.5 or a 3. It's a very faithful version of On the Dark Side. Now, if it was just that, I don't know. I would say it didn't really add anything to the original version. No, but with what again?
He could have done something to kick it up, but with what he did, gave it that extra.
Yep, and like Dave said, the extra oomph he gives you at the end, and you people go out and listen to it. We will not spoil it. We're not about spoilers here on Sports Frenzy. So you have to do the work. You go listen to it. You find out what we're talking about at the end, and you will realize why it kicks it up a full point, up to 3.5.
And the rock stations have picked this one up this week. I've heard it several times.
Good to hear that. Great to hear it's on the radio. We need to not only get all these younger people involved in old school rock and roll. I would love it if they would start rediscovering Eddie and the Cruisers and John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Very underrated band. I saw for free.
Soundtrack.
Yep, I saw them for free.
Does not get the credit.
Yep. When I was a freshman at Miami, when I was a Hurricane, they played there for free, and I got to see them. It was a great show. Fantastic show.
That's awesome. All right, shall we dive into Laughing Boy, Duran Duran's next track?
Yes, now I did some research on this since we talked about this last week. There is now a deluxe edition of their new album out. That's where this is coming from. Again, it's not on the original version like we were talking about with the Scorpions, where you listen to the full deluxe and I only listen to the standard. Laughing Boy is not on the standard edition of the new Duran Duran album. This is on the deluxe. And I told you when I initially heard this, and I put this on our list, I think this song is probably better than almost everything on the original album cut.
Wow.
You didn't like it?
Interesting. I was meh on it.
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it, but it didn't do all that much for me. I will listen to it, but I'm more on the 2.5 on this one.
Well, 2.5's not bad. I would give it 3. I really kind of like this one. I really think this was better than almost all the tracks on their current album. And of course, again,
I did like this one better than the last song we listened to.
Yeah.
That we reviewed.
Now the mystery contestant of the week. Who is Dream Widow? Who the hell is this band? And why the hell should we care about them? I don't know, Dave.
Do we reveal it? Do we reveal it or make them dig deep?
No, we should probably let them know because the movie bombed this weekend. It barely made $1.5 million. Nobody went to see it.
That's because it wasn't a wide release. You couldn't go see it everywhere.
They did have it at the Cinemark here. They did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it is at the Cinemark here. Yep.
Well, hell, maybe I may have to go give it a shot.
Yep.
But Dream Widow is, in fact, the Foo Fighters. It is the death metal band whose tracks they find in their movie Studio 666.
Now this is hard thrash death metal. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, definitely in that realm. Not your usual listening pleasure.
Yeah, no, not. And I did not really care for this all that much, to be honest.
You know, I didn't mind it all that much.
That figures.
But I like the
God, that figures. Yeah, I would.
Enjoyed this.
I can only give it two frenzies. I
went 3.
See, kids, sometimes you find out the differences between Dave and I, and you're finding them out today. I go Duran Duran, he goes Dream Widow. Oh, by the way, I do have an update. I do have an update on the Hall of Fame voting, the fan Hall of Fame voting.
The 1% that matters?
The 0.1%, David. Get it right. The 0.1%.
I'm sorry, the 0.1%.
Yes, because I've been voting every day. Duran Duran is now number 1. They have blown past Eminem. So now Duran Duran is number 1 on the ballot. Of course, the top 5 will get in the 0.1%.
Yeah.
I can't push Judas Priest into that 5th slot. They're 6th. I've got to get some help, people. You have got to go out there and vote for Judas Priest.
Put the Priest in.
The Eurythmics are still ahead of them. The Eurythmics are still ahead of them. We can't allow this to happen.
Vote for the Priest.
All right. Now, I know we're probably going to be oppo on this one, too, so let's go ahead and do this one, since we just had our...
Fixx out of the way?
Yeah. Woman of Flesh and Blood. And I guarantee I like this song more than Dave did. Guaranteed.
I guarantee you did. I'm giving it 2.5.
That's not bad. 2.5's not bad.
No, it was a decent little mellow tune.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. They let the guitar player sing most of the lead vocals on it. So it's not Cy Kernan, the normal lead singer for the Fixx. He kind of comes in, I think, on the chorus or on the transition into the chorus.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why it doesn't really sound like a Fixx song per se. But that being said, I still thought it was okay. I would go 2.5 with you, though. I go 2.5. I thought it was good. Not great, but good. I'm shocked you gave it 2.5. I thought you would have been retching listening to this.
It wasn't that bad. I would listen to it again.
Yeah, and eventually we will review when they decide to put out an album. We'll review the album.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I have a feeling next week, possibly, maybe, we will be reviewing Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs' new album, External Combustion, which comes out this Friday.
Yep.
But in the meantime...
The second song released on there, Electric Gypsy. I like this little bluesy track.
As did I. I thought it was very good. I'm very encouraged from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, this they've got their own little sound going here. The first one we reviewed had that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers vibe, which we kind of expected. But this, they kind of are finding their own way with.
I still think this has a Tom Petty vibe to it.
It does, but not as heavy.
Well, I think the song is heavier, but the Tom Petty
Yeah.
influence isn't as heavy.
Right. Yeah, this one's got a little bit more oomph to it. But no, I really enjoyed this one. I went 3 on here.
I go 3.5. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, like I said, we will discuss and decide what we're reviewing next week, but I think the new album, External Combustion, might be on the agenda, as could possibly be a song from a new band called Skills. Their new single is called "Stop the World." Dave sitting there. What are you talking about, Kev? Have you had one too many beers tonight?
Maybe.
Well, of course, but Skills is a new band put together by the head of Frontiers Records, who is an overseas label who have been putting out all the classic rock stuff from Night Ranger and Whitesnake and Winger. They're the ones trying to keep the classic 80s bands alive. So the head of Frontiers found this lead singer that he thinks is the be all end all. So he said, well, what can I do to promote this guy? Get him in a band. So he brought in Brad Gillis from Night Ranger, and he brought in Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big and David Lee Roth's first band when he was a solo act, the Eat 'em and Smile band. So Skills is this new kind of super group.
I'm intrigued now.
Yep. So Stop the World is the first single. New album coming out in a couple months. So,
all right. We'll definitely have to give this a listen.
Then, of course, we mentioned Studio 666 opened this week. Have you seen the new Coors beer they put out?
No, I have not.
Almighty Light, which ties into Studio 666. Somehow
Nice.
Dave Grohl has so much influence, he got Coors to rename their beer for a couple weeks to coincide with the release of Studio 666.
Yeah. Did you read the interview with Dave Grohl from late last week, where he talks about how the pandemic has played hell with him because he's pretty much deaf to being able to hear anybody's voice?
No.
He pretty much lip reads.
No, I did not see that.
Conversations, he has real trouble hearing what's going on. But musically, he's in tune with everything. And it's because on stage, he can't wear the dampers.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, a lot of these musicians, of course, we know Pete Townsend notoriously has hearing loss. It's just, it's Brian just Johnson, the price you pay. Yep, great call there. Yep, of course. Two other quick notes. Don't have a dollar figure on it, but Neil Diamond has sold his music catalog. He is the latest to say, hey, here's my music. Give me tons of money. But again, we don't have a dollar figure on that. And finally, again, a couple weeks from now, we will be reviewing Mammoth, WVH, Dirty Honey. Dirty Honey just put out a concept video for their song Another Last Time. So check that out. Mammoth is playing new stuff on tour. I Don't Know It All is their new song they're playing here. Hopefully we'll hear that in a couple weeks. They're also covering Alice in Chains, Them Bones. There's a video out there for that. Check that out. It is awesome beyond belief. And Wolfie says, we're not taking 5 years to put out the next Mammoth WVH album. I want to get it done and out, if not late this year, early 2023.
Good for him.
Yep. All right, kids. TV and streaming news coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Stuck in a no-win situation? Wife being held captive while your feet bleed? Take a second to decompress. Pull out your smartphone and listen to Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. And don't forget to check out their Facebook page. The Maestro and the Conquistador will take your mind off your dire predicament and give you the best non-PC sports commentary you'll find anywhere. And once you compose your exit strategy and take down some German terrorists, you'll want to yell, "Yippee-ki-yay, Sports Frenzy 2.0!
Hey kids, welcome back to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
And I'm the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
And here we are taping March 2nd, 2022. This will drop Saturday, March 5th, in time for the weekend for ideas on what to watch, listen to. We got you covered. It's all good. So, TV and streaming on this segment. Our weekly recap on Resident Alien.
We're almost. Can you believe we're already probably halfway through season 2?
No, I can't believe we're halfway through. God, this is it, just when you don't know where it's gonna go, they throw you another curveball for the alien to have to deal with.
Harry's daughter.
Harry's daughter runs away from camp while mom's off globe-trotting, whoring herself away in Europe. Oh, man.
Just when they're about ready to head out to New York to meet, supposedly, another alien, so Harry can connect with one of his own kind.
Yep. This unknown daughter falls into town. It's a heart-wrenching, heart-endearing story. As long as you don't watch the mayor's play.
Oh, that's the good thing about this show. It really is. You kind of just summed it up. Is that I know where you're going. The show has a good heart. It really has a good heart.
It does, with a lot of good comedy, a lot of dark turns. Where did mommy's happiness go?
It is an adult comedy. It is an adult comedy that actually does have its heart in the right place, if that's possible.
And this pulls it off. So another solid outing. For Resident Alien.
And I believe I said last week that the first couple episodes took a while for season 2 to get going, but the last 3 episodes have been phenomenal. So now we head off to the Big Apple to find out what Harry is going to do when he encounters another of his own kind.
Yep, because he's going to New York where they have law and they have order.
Yeah, I wonder how he's going to handle that. Can you please tell me where Mr. Lenny Briscoe is? Dong dong. What a great segue, by the way. Thank you, Dave. Because, of course, I wanted to bring up the fact that the original longest-running show in television history is back. Dong dong. Law & Order returned last week. Season 21, technically, even though it has not been on the air for a decade.
Wow.
But, of course, it brings back a couple old characters and brings back some new actors. Jeffrey Donovan, of course, you and I both love, is now one of the 2 lead cops in the first half of the show. Of course, If you people don't know the format of the show by now, shame on you. The first half is law, the second half is order. The first half is the police, the second half are the attorneys. So, of course,
they have the police who arrest the bad guys, and then you have the prosecutors who put them away.
Now you got me thinking about Harry all over again from Resident Alien. But yeah, Jeffrey Donovan, I like what they're doing with him. It's a little heavy-handed because they brought back Anthony Anderson as well, one of the old Law and Order cops from the original incarnation. And those two don't get along because Anthony Anderson, of course, has got to be the PC, Black Lives Matter guy, and Donovan is more straight-laced, I hate all people unless they follow the law type guy. I don't care what the color of their skin is. I hate all people if they don't follow the law. So they're clashing already. And then Hugh Dancy, which we talked about from Hannibal, the guy who was chasing down Hannibal Lecter, they've brought him in as the lead attorney, district attorney, working with Sam Waterston, of course. Again, a throwback to the old Law and Order. So I loved it. The first episode, I was hooked. I was back in it again. I love it. I can't stand SVU. SVU is such garbage, you know. Oh,
it's run its course.
Well, just the subject matter is so disgusting and so distasteful. It's like a soap opera combined with a sleazy tabloid, you know. Oh, a nun got raped, a child got molested. I don't need to see this on television. It's supposed to be an escape. You know, that's why I've never liked SVU. I can't stand SVU. So I'm glad to have the old regular Law and Order come back. Just solve a crime in an hour, do it well, make it interesting. I will enjoy it.
There you go. So I've been glad that the Olympic lull is over for shows. NCIS is back, finally.
And Peaky Blinders debuted overseas this past week. So
God, please get that.
I know it's coming. Oh. It's got to be coming soon to Netflix. They said it was the highest rated debut of all time on BBC, I think.
Well, yeah, it's been, 3 years? Almost 4 since the last season. And now we were finally getting the conclusion.
And that's one of the ones where I feel bad. I know you've tried to get me into it, and I watched the first couple. And I will eventually probably watch it.
Yeah, so I can see if it doesn't hook you right away, and I can see where it's not going to hook everybody right off the bat.
Well, and as we talked,
it's kind of acquired.
Well, and as we talked about the last couple of weeks, how long did it take me to watch the first 2 seasons of The Boys? You know, I just got to be in the mood. Got to find the right time, the right place. It's all about feel. It's all about mood. You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. It's official. Disney Plus is going to break the rules now. Disney Plus, starting March the 16th, will create a whole new TVMA universe for Marvel shows. They are bringing in all of the stuff from Netflix, Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Defenders, Iron Fist, Daredevil. Moon Knight will be pulled into that when it debuts. S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now in that. They got the rights to that. They're pulling that in. So Disney Plus becomes a little bit more attractive in terms of a streaming service now because you get all that Netflix stuff. And they're saying that because
they can go a little harder, a little edgier, maybe you can do more with their other Marvels moving forward.
Yes, and they are saying, because of course I don't want to spoil things, of course, it's been spoiled for me. I know you know this, but let's just say one of those characters from the Netflix Marvel Universe who happened to appear in a huge blockbuster movie recently might get a new life now that his show is being pulled in to this new TVMA universe on Disney Plus.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, he's got horns, by the way. Oops, sorry. Not the one I want, though. Not the one I want. You know the one I want. Which they will. I'm so worried with this political climate.
Dare we give any more clues?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about somebody completely different now. I'm saying that.
Oh, I know where you wanted to go.
I want the Punisher. I want the Punisher. God damn it, give me the Punisher. I am tired of this. Oh, he's white supremacist. Oh, people have that on their truck and they're immediately going to put a Confederate flag on there too. That is not what the character is about.
Good God.
I can't stand that crap, how they've destroyed that character in the media, in the press. That is not who the Punisher is. Stop pigeonholing him. He is, it's a good sign to me that Disney is bringing him in. I was worried they were going to exclude him. I thought they wouldn't bring him at all.
He needs to be out there. He does not stand for any white supremacist stuff. Shame on everybody who's taken over that symbol for stupidity's purpose.
But again, I give Disney credit. That's very rare. But I give them credit. They're pulling the Punisher in to this TVMA universe. Where the
money's going to come from.
So we will see. We will see. But I'm just glad they're bringing him in. That tells me that maybe, possibly, hopefully, we'll get over this crap, this divided PC crap, and the Punisher will live again. Now, speaking of white supremacists, we got to talk about something from Peacemaker last week. I forgot to bring this up when we were doing our season recap of Peacemaker. There, of course, is the great line that John Cena throws out there about Green Arrow, where he basically says that Green Arrow likes to go to brony conventions. Of course, My Little Pony for men. As the ass end of Sparkle Pony, I think it was, with a 4-inch asshole cut out. Of course, Stephen Amell, who played Arrow very well before the whole WB PC crap kicked in, didn't take kindly to that. So he had to fire back on Twitter here a couple weeks ago. Here's the thing. Stephen Amell is in a show on Stars, which you have, right? You have Stars.
Yeah.
I know you hate wrestling, but there is a show on Stars with Stephen Amell called Heels.
Yeah, with him and
So
I saw the previews.
Yes, which I want to watch. I want to see this. Maybe it'll be a kind of cool behind the scenes look at what happens. Dramatized, of course, but I think it's him and his brother competing. Yeah. But the thing is, since he's in this wrestling show, after the comment on the last Peacemaker episode about him with the 4-inch butthole and the My Little Pony stuff, Stephen Amell had to come out and say, well, I'm glad John Cena's got the time to make jokes like that about Green Arrow, since I'm showing him how you should actually behave as a professional wrestler. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty good.
And then finally, to wrap up TV and streaming here on my end, we've talked about the new Raylan Givens series coming soon on FX, City Primeval.
Yes.
Even though the book is not a
looking
Raylan Givens
forward to
book, it's going to be interesting, and anything to get Timothy Oliphant back as Raylan Givens will take it.
Yes.
Guess who else?
Phenomenal character. Well portrayed.
Guess who else is psyched about this? So much so that he wants to direct a couple episodes.
Pray tell.
Mr. Quentin Tarantino wants in.
Oh my God.
Well, you got to remember, he is not a stranger to Elmore Leonard's work because he directed the book Rum Punch, which became Jackie Brown.
Right.
So he loves Elmore Leonard. So this doesn't surprise me that Tarantino wants in.
Very good. This could be very good. When somebody who has a passion like that, good things come about.
Now, did you ever see Jackie Brown?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, with De Niro and Pam Grier.
Yep.
Great. I love that movie.
Good. Very good.
Yep. All right, kids. That is it for TV and streaming. Unless Dave's got something.
Nope, not yet.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Lots of movie stuff coming up, though. Lots of movie stuff. Yes. Dumbasses. Moments of silence. Stay tuned. The weekend edition. We'll be right back.
Yes. Listen, you will, to Sports Frenzy 2.0, you must. Much to learn from the maestro and conquistador there is for entertainment every Saturday. On Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and everywhere are they found.
Let's all go to the lobby. Hey kids, welcome back to Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. Here we are filming March 2nd, 2022. This will hit March 5th. I am the conquistador, Dave Height.
And I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And as you could have guessed, it's time to go to the movies. Got a couple of reviews and some news for you. We are going to start off with The Kingsman that we finally got around to watching.
Even though we were supposed to go see it with your boys, and they screwed us.
Who hosed us.
This is what you get, kids. This is what you get when you try to do things with your children when they grow up. They say, oh, sure, we want to go see movies with you, Dad. Sure, we want to go see movies with you, Uncle Kev. And then they screw you.
We got the grandparents to take us instead.
Yeah. The elder statesman, one of our panel members on our normal Sports Frenzy podcast.
And the matriarch.
Yep. But that's okay. We'll make do. We'll watch the movies when we can.
So the prequel to the Kingsman movies that we've had, and you don't have to watch the two Kingsmen to watch the Kingsman.
I think, and you told me that, and I agree with you, because I have slacked off and I did not watch The Golden Circle. But I think you should watch the first one because there is a little bit of background that connects the first one with this. I don't think you have to watch the second one, though.
No, the first one, it would help on a couple of things towards the end, but it's not necessary.
You can get by, yeah.
So, now this, as a standalone here, leading in, very enjoyable. Liked the characters. Of course, it has its PC stuff going on in there. You know, I don't know back at the time pre-World War II how much influence a female servant would actually have upon a lot of things.
You got to let it go. Yeah, you just got to let it slide. like you
let
said.
it ride.
Yep.
So, no, it was entertaining and pretty well done.
Yeah.
With the whole lead-in.
I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. We both agree, I think Ray Fiennes, he is great. When you put him in between the Bond movies and this, when you get him away from his pretentious past with The English Patient, one of the most ridiculed, mocked movies ever. He's pretty cool.
Can pull off some good stuff.
I don't know about you, but when I watched the climax to this movie, the final fight scenes, I actually kind of maybe was thinking, damn, he could have pulled off Bond maybe 10, 15 years ago.
That thought popped into my head as well.
He actually looked like he could have pulled off a really good James Bond.
Once he got more into the action sequences.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now, of course, there's stunt doubles involved, and especially now.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying 10 or 15 years ago, when he was younger, he probably could have done more of the work himself. Now, I don't know about you. I thought this was kind of a roller coaster movie for me, in that I ended up really liking it more again than I thought I would. I'm going to give it 3 frenzies, a strong 3. I liked it as much as I did the first Kingsman movie. I'll tell you
that middle segment after
the World War I segment with his son kind of dragged the whole movie down. I thought
old trenches.
Yes, it was necessary, but it bogged the movie down. It seemed like we were watching 2 different movies. It was like we went from a Kingsman movie to 1917, or something from the old World War days. It's not.
There was a disconnect.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like you put it perfectly.
The transition was not well done.
You put it perfectly. It was a disconnect. It felt like somebody had dropped a different type of movie into the middle of a Kingsman movie. Because I love the beginning, I love the end. But
outside of that, though, the storyline moved along great. And even with that not being quite in line with the rest, that all was done very well.
I was thinking the same thing. You read my mind again. Again, it's not criticizing the quality of what they did. It's just, it felt like a complete and total shift in tone and feel for the movie when they did that. Now, I love the
3 different movies in one.
Oh yeah, and I think that unfortunately, I think that downgrades it a bit. But I did love bringing in all the historical characters, Rasputin, and we won't talk about the German characters. Especially hint in the end, in the hidden scenes.
Yes.
No, Lenin is, of course.
Good. I liked how they were bringing it all into play.
I was very happy with Kingsman, the Kingsman. Of course, we have to differentiate. It's like Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. So Kingsman versus the Kingsman. I loved the Kingsman enough to give it a strong 3 frenzies.
On the same page, through and through. Now, shifting from the drama, we move on to this week's comedy. Pseudo drama, mostly comedy. Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. your hapless video game NPC character who, son of a gun, finds himself wanting more, evolving within the video game. Don't want to give away a lot of the reason how that happens. We don't want to ruin it for you.
Right.
But it's a nice little story weaved in here on how that all came about and trying to resolve the main issue of corporate greed.
Yeah, I was really intrigued with the movie for the first 30, 45 minutes. And then it just lost me. It just lost me. I just couldn't. I mean, I got through it. It was fine. Ryan Reynolds.
About a 20-minute stretch that they could have cut that would have made it a more tighter film.
Ryan Reynolds, of course, is awesome as always. And he's the guy on the screen. Obviously, you're going to follow him. He's charismatic, good looking, smart guy, funny guy, sarcastic guy in all his movies. You're going to watch him. You're going to follow him. The rest of the movie, though, I could give a rat's ass about. Jodie Comer as the love interest. Ugh. Lil Rel as his best friend. Ugh. I mean, the acting outside of Ryan Reynolds was so generic. So, Taika Waititi, who I love, of course, he is behind our favorite TV show, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
He even comes off as kind of as the bad guy, quote unquote. Yeah. And I just think my problem is with video game movies is they are so. And now we're not talking about like Uncharted. Uncharted is a movie based on a video game. I'm talking about movies like this, like Pixels, anything that actually gets into the techno stuff where you got people typing on computers, tapping on keyboards, and looking at monitors and video screens and who can type faster and who can put their USB port in and download the video or the data quicker. That stuff, that's not drama. That's not action. That's our kids today. I can't stand it. It's not action. It's not plot. It's not, the structure that I want to see in a movie. And that's why Free Guy to me just didn't work. I give it 2 frenzies.
I liked it a little better than you did. I'll give it 2.5. I didn't mind it, but then again, I liked Ready Player One too.
I expected more of that in this, and we didn't get a lot of it until the very end, and even then, it was only like 30 seconds of it. And again, we're not going to spoil anything for you, but Dave knows what I'm talking about. There's a little when Ryan Reynolds meets his alter ego, let's say.
The dude.
No, see, you just spoiled it. No. And then
didn't spoil anything.
Guy has to find some ways to combat dude. It's very fun. The best scene in the movie comes from that. Let's put it that way. The funniest scene in the movie comes from that. But again, I don't see how you can, in this day and age, make computer programming, gaming interesting on the big screen. Now, Free Guy was a huge hit, so it obviously worked, but it doesn't work for me because I'm a bitter old man.
There you go. You just don't get it.
I just want people killing each other, shooting each other like in The Kingsman. That's the kind of movie I want. Mano y mano. Carrying people missing legs over trenches blood and guts, mines, barbed wire,
Duels.
mortar shells. Come on!
Duels to the death.
Typing on a keyboard. Oh my god.
Click, click.
Click, 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 click. Hashtag virus. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Is this what we've come to? Is this now an action movie? Again, that being said, Ryan Reynolds is awesome. I do love him. He's great.
Yep. Well, what was the meme that my boys sent me? It's movie producer. Hey, Ryan, we got a movie for you. Ryan, do I get to be a complete and smart ass? Yes. Sign me the F up. Doesn't matter what it is. If he's a smart ass, there you go.
And there is a visual clue in there that you people should pay attention to if you watch Free Guy, that will harken back to, of course, Ryan Reynolds' greatest role. That's all I will say. Now, Dave has been vindicated by one of the greatest actors of our time. As we've talked about here over the past couple months, the Oscars are upon us, Golden Globes, the SAGs, and of course, one of the movies that is at the forefront is The Power of the Dog. Dave, take it away.
This is why I love Sam Elliott, the consummate Western guy. His quote, "Power of the Dog's a piece of shit." And I couldn't agree with him more. I feel so vindicated with this coming from one of my favorite actors. Ripping it to pieces. It is not a Western. How can you call it that? Director has no idea what the American West is.
He's got to be careful there, though. He's got to be really careful there because, of course, Jane Campion directed it. He doesn't want to get into the whole, blame for being a misogynist type thing.
Yeah. And he even praised her as a director for other things. But this one, trying to film a Montana down in New Zealand, no, I agree with him. The movie sucked.
Oh, no, I'm not going to dispute Sam Elliott. Are you kidding me? Man has been in some of the greatest Westerns of all time. But I'm just saying, good for him. He's getting older. He can go ahead and burn bridges if he wants, and that's awesome. Yeah. He's speaking for us. Yeah. It is not a great movie. I've told you that. Now, I watched it. I liked it better than you. I liked the ending. But he's right. It's not a Western. It is not a Western. It's advertised as a Western. It is not a fucking Western. He's right.
It's not a Western.
No.
It is very misleading. And had it not been called a Western, I might have taken to it a little bit better. But it is so misleading and so disappointing in that regard.
Right. It's a family drama. And just because it takes...
That being said, if it was just a straight-up family drama, I would have ignored it entirely.
Right. Right. So good for Sam Elliott. I agree. Awesome to hear him standing up and saying what we want to say. Finally.
What we have said.
Again, all these movies that get put up for Oscars for the most part are crap. And it's good to hear one of their own telling them, hey, this is not a Western, it's a piece of crap. Now, speaking of movies that are not pieces of crap, it looks like we are going to get Beetlejuice back again, Dave. Michael Keaton is...
No. As long as Michael Keaton is playing Beetlejuice.
Yes. Michael Keaton looks like...
I'm fine with it coming back.
Yep. Brad Pitt got involved here recently. His production company jumped in and said, we want to not redo, but we want a sequel to Beetlejuice. We want Michael Keaton back involved. It looks like both parties are happy with that, and it's going to move forward. So
Good.
That could be interesting to see Michael Keaton back again as Beetlejuice. And I don't think age matters because he looked old with that makeup to begin with in the original.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. He is going to be awesome.
Now, here is another bit of movie news in terms of a returning character that I think you will find interesting. Steven Spielberg now wants to direct, produce a new movie focusing on Frank Bullitt, the Steve McQueen character from the classic Bullitt movie. Now, I think you and I have talked about this and agree that the original Bullitt movie is not Steve McQueen's finest moment. It's overrated. It is overrated.
It's very slow paced.
Right. And I still don't think, I even will go out on a limb, blasphemy among, the movie illiterate, the geniuses out there. And also, the car chase scene isn't even the best ever. I'll take The French Connection. I'll take To Live and Die in L.A. any day over the chase scene in Bullitt, the car chase.
There are others that have been more well done. That kind of set the bar at the time.
But again, I've watched it and it doesn't do anything for me. Now, of course, I'm not disparaging Steve McQueen. I love Steve McQueen. He's awesome. But I don't know how I feel about this.
It's very slow paced.
I'm kind of excited to think that Steven Spielberg could re-energize the character and actually make a Bullitt movie that is worthy of the legend that's been created.
Yeah. That would be intriguing to see what he can pull off with it.
So supposedly his passion project is on the front burner. Maybe in a couple years we'll see that. All right, so we got to move on to moments of silence here. Sally Kellerman from MASH has passed away.
The original Hot Lips.
Yeah, much prettier, much better looking, in my opinion, than Loretta Swit.
Yes.
Much more worthy of the moniker of Hot Lips.
Yes.
Although I do love the TV show, so I'm not disparaging Loretta Swit. It's just Sally Kellerman was much better looking.
Yeah.
Okay, now on a personal note, you're going to have to bear with me on this. The other moment of silence I have, the one show over the last 5 or 6 years that I have actually listened to my daughter, my 20-year-old daughter on, that she has recommended that I watched and I enjoyed, was New Girl. I don't know if you remember that. It was on Fox with Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
It's actually a very funny show. It's actually really funny. I got into it. I enjoyed it a lot. Now Nick, the character in the show that we would relate to, the guy who just slugs bears down left and right, never shaves, he's just kind of like one of us sports. He had an old Asian friend. He would wander around when he would have an existential crisis every 4 or 5 episodes. He would wander into the park, sit on the park bench, and there'd be this old Oriental guy called Tran. And Nick would sit there and just talk about his feelings and his emotions. And at the time, he had a crush on Zooey Deschanel's character. and the Oriental guy didn't say a single word. He would just sit there and kind of look at him a little bit, and and Nick would just talk and work things out, and at the end he'd say, "You're my best friend, Tran," and he'd hug him, and he'd walk away. And this happened, like I said, every 4 or 5 episodes. Well, Tran passed away.
Aww.
Ralph Ahn, A-H-N, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. Ralph Ahn passed away in his 90s, but he played Tran in New Girl, so I have to give him props.
Nice.
And, thoughts and well wishes to his family. Again, very personal one to me, but I've got to give recognition to him because he was such a cool bit part character in one of those shows or those movies that for me, I will never forget.
There you go. It's all about the connection.
Well, there's always those characters, those actors, those people that you kind of connect with. If it's in a scene, in a movie, an episode in a TV show, Yeah. All right, I have dumbasses. You will like these. I think you will really like these. I don't think we're going to play dumbass or not, though, because these are kind of obvious.
Yeah.
2 of them are connected to unfortunately, the Ukraine-Russia crisis. First up, of course, is Joy Behar of The View. Bitching and pissing and moaning.
She's almost got a permanent seat on the plane of doom.
I think,
solidify it.
Yeah, I think she's got a seat. I think we've got her strapped in. No kind of food service or any kind of, maybe we'll give her a drink to dull the pain a little bit. But
nah, she gets a ball gag.
Yeah, she bitched and pissed and moaned once the Ukrainian-Russian crisis started because it ruined her Italian vacation.
What a self-centered bitch.
As you always say, man, it's a 1%er problem.
Yep. Duh.
And the other one who took advantage, one of the people that we've been talking about lately and liking, but he's made some stupid mistakes. He did this about 6-7 months ago, I believe, promoting Fast and Furious 9, is John Cena. John Cena tweeted out when the whole invasion started, he used the opportunity to start promoting Peacemaker.
Oh,
I wish I could have the powers of #Peacemaker to go into the Ukraine and stop Russia. Dude, don't do that. Don't promote your show when there's an international crisis going on using said international crisis as the basis.
To try and bolster, no.
And of course, he did this with China and what was it, Singapore or Taiwan, something like that. And he dared to say that, what was it, Singapore was its own country, and then he had to backtrack because, of course, that pissed off all the people in China that watch his movies. Here's an idea, John Cena. You suck at wrestling. You're barely a good actor. Stay out of politics.
Stay off social media.
I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know if this is a dumbass. This could be one dumbass or not. AMC has decided that they are going to charge more this weekend if you want to see The Batman. They are going to start dynamic ticket prices so that now they can charge more for more popular movies.
I hate this crap. It's another money gouge by corporate greed. I hate it. Everything's going up. This is bullshit.
what they're going to say, I'm not siding with them, but I'm just going to give you their viewpoint. They're going to say that, well, the Eagles charge $140 for bleacher seats, nosebleed seats, whereas other bands charge $60. So why can't we do that with movie ticket prices? I'm just saying. That's going to be their rationale.
And it's flawed completely.
I agree with you. It sucks. And if you look at prices, for tickets in New York, oh my God. Because that's where they were drawing the comparison, is like they said it's 18 to go see Uncharted. It's going to be 19 to go see the Batman. I'm like, who's paying $18 or $19 to see a fucking movie? Wait till it comes out on Blu-ray and own it for the same price. Jesus.
No kidding.
All right, we're running out of time again. Prices
are ridiculous.
I did not do a good job of planning this all out in terms of time, but this one I have got to get in here. I've got to, because I know Dave wants this. The Wheel of Fortune debacle from this past week. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have.
Another feather, blank N, Y-O blank R, blank A blank. Laura, we don't know her last name, thank God. Hat, lap, map were her guesses. Another feather in your hat, lap, map. Jesus Christ, woman! Jesus! The poor guy who finally won. Thank God there is some kind of justice in the world, because he got bankrupt and he got lose your turn while these other two idiots can't figure out another feather in your fucking cap.
It's not rocket science, people. There have been a lot of horrible guesses over the last month.
Because of the dumbing down of our fucking society, David. All right.
You gotta wonder how some people get on these shows.
Say goodbye to the kids, Dave. We gotta go.
Goodbye to the kids, Dave. We got